create tours, first log into your TourTask panel, which is your business abbreviation .tourtask.com. Then go to Tours, Manage, and then Create New Tour. So let's enter a title, and let's enter a short and a long description. I'll use these ones that I have prepared since before. And then enter translations for any language that you have activated in your configuration. Then let's add a main image for this tour. And to add a gallery, we first have to save the tour once, so we won't be able to do that now. And duration, you can select 2, 3, 4 days, whichever the duration is, or if you select 1 day, you can also select the exact amount of hours and minutes that this tour will last. Tour types. Here we have 2 types, group tour and private tour. So let's start with a group tour. Let's say this tour costs $150 per person. If you have activated more than one age group, you will see these age groups here, such as child, youth, adult, senior, and infant as well. So outsourcing. If you are outsourcing this tour to a different company, then you'd want to click this little button here. The default costs that you are paying to this partner of yours, let's say $80. And here you enter the email of your default outsourced provider. So to be able to do this though, you first have to create this provider in Users Manage. So for now, let's disable this button, and this means that we are actually operating this tour ourselves. So here we can establish something called tour components. So this is a very efficient way of making sure that your logistics and your operation is in check. This tour component is what is required to be able to perform the tour. So many times this will be a guide and a vehicle, sometimes a driver, and maybe something else as well. So we have to create these in a different section though, and we'll do that shortly. So here we have departure planning mode. So the easiest way to do this is to let TourTask schedule a departure for this tour as a group tour whenever someone books the tour for the first time. So then here we can use pickup times, 9 o'clock, and let's say we actually start picking up people at 8:30, go down to the bottom here, 8:30, and then set the range. It'll take us half an hour or so until 9 o'clock. We can also add a pickup time if we perform this tour multiple times in a day. Let's say we also do it at 3 in the afternoon. But for now, let's just remove this additional pickup time. So days of the week. Here we can establish the exact days that this tour runs. Let's do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And here also days in month. If we run this on any day during the month, as long as it's on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we want to use this option. If we only do it on odd days for some reason, the first, third, or fifth of the month, then let's use this one. And if it's on even days, it's this one. But for now, let's do any day. And the default capacity. Let's say this as a group tour has a capacity of 20 people, because maybe our bus fits 20 passengers plus guide and driver. And if we would need more flexibility regarding the dates and the times and so on when this tour operates, we'd have to use manual planning. So it's a little bit more work, it's a bit more micromanagement, but it'll give you 100% flexibility on dates and times when you run this tour. So now let's go down, and let's also open this tour up for bookings as a private tour. So here we have first a base price. So let's say the base price is $300. And then for every person that is a part of this booking, when this tour is booked as a private tour, we'll add a certain amount of dollars as well. Let's say $60. So that means that when there are 2 people going out, the total of the tour is 420, which is 300 plus 60 plus 60. So if we raise this, the amount of passengers to, let's say, 10, we'll see how the total goes up, but the price per person, of course, goes down quite drastically. So now it's $900, but $90 per person. So we can go back to 2 people. This is just to show you the example here. So we have something called minimum passengers charged set as 2. So that means that even though 1 person will take the tour, we will still charge them as if they were 2 people. So let's see here, the total price is 420, and if we do 1 person, the price is the same. Back to 2 people, same total price, but if it's 3 people, the price will start to go up 480. So here we have standard tour components when this is booked as a private tour. So still the same thing here, we have to create the components first. Private tour standard start times. So this is optional. It's mainly for when you sell this tour in external channels, when it is sold as part of a package with multiple tours in one, and you then feed this package to these external channels. So then sometimes, the TourTask will not find availability if you offer the tour just as you entered it into the product. So sometimes if you allow it, TourTask will try to change the order of the tours and then play with the start times a little bit, because it knows the duration of the tour, and if you put the start time here, it'll have more knowledge and more flexibility in being able to trying to find availability for you. So 9:30, let's say that's a standard start time. Oh, sorry, we put earlier before, we put 8:30. 8:30, and the latest start time when we are able to perform this tour, let's say that it's at 12 midday. So items. These tour items are only to inform your clients about what is included in the tour, what's not included, and also what you suggest that they bring to the tour. So we first have to create these items in tours items. So let's do that in a bit. Add-ons. This is to upsell your tour. Maybe you have, let's say, lunch as an optional add-on for your tour, for which you charge extra money. So then you can create this as an add-on in tours add-ons and then add it to this tour. So here we can enable this option here if this is a shore excursion, if this is especially for cruise ship passengers when they reach your destination. But in this case, let's say it's not. So we can save the tour. And now this tour is actually live already. So we can go and have a look at what this looks like. So then we can open up a new tab, testbiz.com.tourtask.com/public/activities. So this link here works as a static link for your business that you can use to actually sell your tours right away if you don't have a website yet. Or you can also just use it to have a quick look of what the integration will look like when this module is integrated to your website. So here we can see our tour, mountain hiking. Clicking it and we can see more information, and you can add it to the cart here as well. Click it and it's added to the cart right here, and that's it. So let's go back to the TourTask panel. We can create some tour components. So here we have some default components that we can activate just by clicking this button here. We can activate the guide because we will need that one. We need vehicle and we'll need driver. And here we can also have the option to create a custom component. Let's say your business needs, for example, astronomer, or maybe chef, or dancer, or whatever it is. And then you just enter the name here and any translations as well. and then you establish the type, if this is a type of a user or a type of vehicle, and then you create the component. So, but let's not do that now. So then we can go back to Tours and manage. So let's click the pen here to edit this tour. We go down to standard group tour components. Let's start with that one. So let's add component here, a guide and a vehicle. And so this tour we established with a capacity of 20 people. That means this tour is probably going in a big bus. So let's also add a driver as a standard component for the group tour. And then we go down and do the same thing for the private tour. Add component, a guide, and a vehicle. And let's say maybe this tour is often booked as a private tour for only 2 people, or 1 or 3 or 4 people. So then many times the guide will act as a driver as well, so because they're going in a small vehicle. So no need in this case to add a driver in this example. So then we can save the tour. So now we can go to tours and items to create a few items to let the people know what is included in the tour, what's not included, and what we recommend for them to bring. So let's start with a ticket to the national park. And maybe this one is not included, for example. So we can just add this information to the description here about the cost of the ticket. The ticket costs $20 per person, and then Spanish. So then let's go down here and select a file for an icon of this item. There's a little here's a folder that I prepared, and let's use this one. Create item. So let's create another item as well, something that we do include in the tour. And let's add an image. Changing the file type to display all icons. There it is. Create item. So now let's recommend people to bring sunglasses to protect the eyes from the strong UV rays. And let's add an icon to that as well. Create item. So now we can go back to Tours, manage, and click this little pen here so we can edit the tour. And let's go down to the bottom where we will find items included. So what's included in the tour? We will include a water bottle, and we will not include ticket to the national park. And we recommend people to bring sunglasses. And also recommend them to bring, of course, the ticket to the national park if this is bought beforehand. And then, of course, you will want to add as much information as possible here about what's included to show people the value of the tour. You can add a guide, even though it's obvious that we include a guide. Still, it's a good idea to include it, to remind people of the value that you give them. And a vehicle, transportation is included, pickup at hotels, and so on. And not included, of course, also very important, so that people know what the tour is about and what to expect. So now we can go ahead and seize the opportunity of adding a gallery. Let's add a few images here. for this one to upload. We can drag and drop as well. There. So now let's save this tour and we can see what it looks like. So here we click the tour, and then here we can see this very nice gallery. We can expand it as well to show it in full screen. It's important that you give the images the same, hopefully the same resolution, at least the same proportion, so that they all look the same. And here we can see the information that we gave the system about what's included, what's not included, and what we recommend the clients to bring. So let's go back here. So now we can create add-ons as well. So let's say that we also offer the option of buying lunch during this tour. And then let's add an icon to the lunch. And here, let's add this lunch only for private tours in this case, just for the sake of the example. Because let's say that in the group tour, we don't want half of the people that did buy the lunch, eat the lunch on their own, and the other half is just there looking. So let's say this lunch is $30 per person, and perhaps maybe you have some logistics involved as well in offering lunch, and maybe this you should put a value to that as well. So let's say $50 as base, and then for every person that has the lunch, $30. So in this case, if it's 2 people, it's $110, and if it's 4 people, the price per person goes down to $43. But the total price, of course, is higher, so from 55 to 43. And here you can select if you want this add-on to be affected by age group discount. So let's say, for example, maybe children 12 years and below have half price on your tours. And then if you activate this button, they will also have half price on this add-on. So the lunch will be half price, and this is the only part of the price that will be affected. So per child in this case, it would be $15 extra. So let's create the add-on, and then let's also create and then let's go back to the tour. And let's add this add-on. And save the tour. And now we can update right here to see what this looks like. And let's remove it from the cart. We can see here in private tour, we have lunch as an option. We don't have it in group tour since we did only activate it for private tour. So here we can change the amount of passengers, and we can see how the price changes here as well, since we added a base to the lunch, base part of the price. Select the date, and we add it. And there it is. So now let's go back to the TourTask panel, and we can create a new tour. So let's call this one City Tour. Different type of tour. And we can add an image for this one. And let's really quickly only add this one as a private tour. Let's give it a base. $300 and $80 per person. And then we can save this tour. So now Let's go back here and see what this looks like. So there, we have two different tours. So if you have many tours of different kinds, then maybe you want to add them into different categories. So let's do that. Let's go to tours and categories. Let's add hikes. And let's add a description here. And another category. Create this category. So now we go back to tours, manage. And now this interface has changed a little bit. So we can see that the two tours that we created before, they are here in this section called uncategorized. So now the easiest way to change categories of these tours is simply to click these little arrows here. So let's move mountain hike up one step, and it went here to urban, which is not correct. So let's move it up again. Now it's in the top, now it's in hikes. So let's add the city tour to the urban category. And let's say you want to have the urban category first, then you simply click this arrow here, which corresponds for the category, like so. So now let's go back and see what this looks like. So here we can see, here is the category right under the title, urban, and here it says hikes. So now we can also separate these tours in the interface by going back to website integrations, tours, and then separate activities by categories. And we could also show you the different interface layout called tiles. So let's update here. And this is what we get. Here we will have all of the urban tours together, and here we have all of the hikes together as well. So here we can see that this is a different layout as well. They're not cards anymore, they're these full image tiles, more of a graphical interface than the other one. So there you will have some flexibility of what you want things to look like. You can also change the color here. Let's say your company color is more towards a green. We can update. And that's what it looks like. And that's it, folks. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, as always, just give us a call or send us a message. Have a good day.